So, you want to hear a story? Well, have I got one for you?
A lot of people around here with guns, so kind of helps to have an itchy trigger finger.
Do you know that it takes approximately 7 pounds of pressure to rip one of these bad boys off?
As soon as he clocks that, he just darts for the shadows.
As a, deep, cynical character flaw, I pretty much assume everybody's hiding something all the time.
My boss was like, "Oh, you gotta fight this guy, or you're gonna get another bullet in the head." And I was like, "Okay."
Starting off with a bang, this is Borderlands.
When we last left off, our crew of Mercs and Miscreants had all by happenstance convened at the Bean There Cafe to apply for a job posting made by the Fear Gorta, an interstellar starship run by Captain Abigail Moore and her crew. Discovering that the job interview was actually escaping from a pre-planned bank heist, our heroes, now bound by dumb luck, set off to the halcyon suborbital spaceport. Car chases, daring gunfights, blood and mayhem. The sole surviving Crimson Lance soldier left chained to a pole. Eventually, our crew made it to Captain Moore's modified space shuttle to escape off Promethea. And it is here that we rejoin our tale of vaults and villains.
Is the guy that we captured and chained up, is he named Dave Riekelman?
Yes. Forever more canon, yes, Dave. So before rocketing off into the early evening sky, laser blasts from ground to air turns begin to streak past as the ship lifts up and then rockets off into the skyline. Our heroes, hefting bags of cash that they had managed to take from the Bean There Cafe, eye their prizes. And this is where we left off in our last session. Everyone had gotten some healthy change. Antsy, I did need you to roll a d10 for me, but if I remember correctly, based on my notes here, Ari, you had gotten a total of about 1,000 credits. Duck, you had gotten a total of 15. Fidget, you had gotten, 1,000 and a little extra something. And the only one I can't quite remember off the top of my head was Hobbes.
Hobbes got $750 in cash.
Right. So what did you roll in your D10, Tegan?
I got a 7.
Got a 7? So yeah, you managed to collect $500 in your bag of cash.
I think Tegan grabbed like 5 bags though.
Oh, Tegan, you did grab quite a few, didn't you?
I think Tegan grabbed
I grabbed like 5. I grabbed like 5
I think it was Tegan's idea to grab a shitload.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna multiply that, but we'll multiply it by 4, and we'll call it 2,000. Now, as the ship is rocketing off into the skyline, just beginning to break the atmosphere, flames lapping up, Fidget, as you look into the bag, spying your bounty of beautiful bills, you see a faint glowing. Carefully shifting the bills, you see a small, very small, shard of iridium, and you instinctively pull your hand back. Feeling pinpricks of sweat under your mask, your heart begins to pound in your chest as your breathing becomes rapid. You glance out the shuttle window. You see the thermal lining carrying heat away, causing flames to lap at the window of the ship. Your blood sounds like rushing water in your ears. You hear a noise. Faint yelling somewhere off in the distance. What's going on in there? What are they up to now? You look around you, and you see the others you had come to this ship with as they start to look into their bags. But they don't look right. Strange, black creatures staring back at you. The door's sealed! Get the arc welder down here! What is that smell? And blackness starts to encroach on the edge of your periphery. Now the ship is shaking. The windows are streaking with brilliant reds and yellows. Laser blasts erupt all around you, and you're dazzled by the bag of cash you all hold. But who here thinks they have a high enough passive perception that they might see Fidget as their chest begins to heave in their seats?
I have a 14.
Fair enough. Well, I'll leave it to Jay. Tell me, do you think, with those kind of perceptions that that you would be noticeable, or have you managed to keep this in your wraps long enough? Okay.
And I just I take the money that's in my hands that I've already counted and just quickly shove it in the bag and like cover up the piece of iridium with it and close it.
Fair enough. Well, I will say the meets it beats it here. Tegan, as everyone's kind of eyeing your money, you have these large sacks of cash, and I'm not sure cash has always been something paramount to you. It's certainly nice, but others seem to have a zeal that is more than you have. And in that moment, you notice that Fidget, the little one you've been traveling with, starts to breathe very rapidly. Being a member of the extreme sports competitions your whole life, it's a little easy to identify a panic attack when you see one happening. What do you do as you notice this?
Hey, Fidget, you having one of those panicky wanikies there?
Panicky wanikis.
Everyone's attention is drawn as Tegan. You instinctively just kind of reach out for Fidget, but Fidget, you see a monstrosity, a pitch black creature with just the faintest eye holes that you can see extending some kind of smoking claw towards you.
I have the exact resolution for your problems, Fidget. What we need to do is get you in a great physical. We need to get you in a great physical routine. Hold on, let me grab you.
So I'm just like, what? And I'm like looking at something that it looks like I'm looking at something like 1,000 yards behind you. I'm just like, what? What are you saying?
Don't worry, Fidget. All we need to do is just get that heart pumping, and then you'll be feeling fine.
Like heart? Fine? What?
As now both hands of smoking claw-like appendages reach out to begin to touch the sides of your shoulders.
Can I try to pull myself out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I will allow you to either make an intelligence saving throw or a constitution saving throw.
Ooh, 10.
Yeah, your rational mind knows that something's not right here. Like, this can't be, like, you understand, like, the process that this can take, but it's not helping the visions you're seeing. There's a big disassociation happening.
Like, I just kind of recoil from your hands a bit and like pull my bag to my chest and I go, I've never actually been off planet before. I've never been in a spaceship and I'm really anxious about it.
Hey, neither have I. But you know what? It's a brand new adventure we're going on. And if you just breathe and just take it all in, it's going to be great. I promise you.
Go ahead and roll another intelligence save with you can do it with advantage from the pep talk.
Okay.
Like, just think, we are hired.
Yeah, I got a
anybody
21
else
that
on our
time.
planet.
Nice.
Oh hell yeah.
As Tegan's giving this pep talk and pulls away just to make you a little more comfortable as you recoil. Eventually, the blackness begins to subside, and Tegan comes into focus, staring at you.
I go, thanks, Tegan. You're a really great friend. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Hey, don't worry about it. I mean, when you live your life in full fear that each day is going to be your last by the pummeling of really big dudes, sometimes you find ways to cope.
Just out of curiosity, asking for a friend. Does anyone have a passive insight of more than 13?
A passive insight?
Yeah.
16.
Yeah, passive insight is calculated as 10 plus your wisdom modifier, or plus your perception score.
Mine actually is 13.
Oh, okay.
My wisdom? Nope, not me. Nope.
Thought mine was investigate. My passive investigation is a 9.
So you two would probably sense I'm hiding something, for sure.
Fair.
So, just as a, deep, cynical character flaw, I pretty much assume everybody's hiding something all the time.
Yeah.
And, you're not wrong. But as you pull yourself out of this panic attack with the aid of some of your new friend aboard this ship, you look out the window to see the flames receding as the shuttle finally breaks free of Promethea. And space encompasses you, stretching on forever.
And then, anybody who also has a keen eye and notices it, the pocket watch with the bullet embedded in it, Fidget kind of rubs it a bit, and then the spot on his chest, where it rests typically, and then tucks it back in his shirt again.
At this point, the momentary silence is broken up as Abby, in the pilot seat, bings a button, calls over the intercom, "Oi, Z, we made it out. Show us the way home." There's a little crackling back on the other end before a voice of a woman comes on and goes, "Abby, I saw your vitals dip tremendously down there. Are you okay? I'm a goddamn sweaty mess up here." And then, back to crackling. Abigail calls back, "Yeah, copy that, Z. We found myself in a bit of a pickle, as it were, but I don't know. I think we found a good crew here." And then crackling before the other voice returns, "Yeah, well, what else should I expect at this point? Anyway, loud and clear, lighting the way," and a little beacon boom, flashes on the shuttle, and the shuttle begins to veer off. Abigail leans over to you, Hobbes, sitting in the pilot's seat, and she's like, "I fucking love that woman." And goes back to steering the ship. It is about an hour of travel as we approach the location pinged where the Fear Gorta is going to be. As it's stationed, a fair ways off of Promethea, just for a little added extra security, as it were. When you arrive at the location, it's seemingly empty space. That is until the pocket of empty space shimmers, ripples, and then deconstructs, revealing the starship Fear Gorta. It is a large, charming hunk of metal and blasted paint, kind of loosely welded together. Definitely looks like the ship has seen its fair share, and it is not by what anyone could call a new model. It is functional, and it does have 2 massive twin ion engines in the back. The shuttle pings for the clearance as and begins to enter the docking station, which is located right under where you would assume the control deck is, like the big viewing window, and then right below it is a large opening that the ship kind of before coming to a stop and resting aboard the docking station. The doors open and you all step out onto the Fear Gorta. Immediately what you see is just a mechanic's bay, more or less. This is a docking station, and there's stuff to fix the shuttle, fix various parts of the ship, and as soon as Abby steps off, a port in the ceiling, like a little aperture type hole, springs open and a pole drops down, and shooting down the pole is the woman that you heard over the radio, who immediately runs up, grabs Abby and a hug. It's like, "Don't you ever do that?" Pushes her away, smacks her in the face, pulls her back in for a hug. It's like, seriously, don't you ever do that stupid shit again, you hear? Pulling a job like that of that magnitude on your own is practically suicide.
Wish I had someone who cared for me like that.
Abby pushes her back and is like, "Z, relax. Look, I found some good ones here. We got the job done." And at that point, this woman turns to glare at all of you. She goes, "Yeah, right. A completely untried group." I don't even know, Abby. I don't even know. But eyeing the lot of you, you see the engineer of the Space Gorta. She has blue and green hair tied back into a ponytail and is wearing clunky headphones. Her left arm is a large metal gauntlet, and she wears sleeveless hoodies with a lime green shirt and black skirt over striped stockings. Well, welcome aboard the Fear Gorta. I'm Zoe, the engineer. I suppose let's bring you guys in, shall we?
I want to examine her mechanical arm. 13 tech. I want to like do that thing that like characters do when they're trying to impress someone they just met, and just start rolling off like technobabble. Like, oh, is that a custom job? What's the torque differential on that? Blah blah blah. And just start like rolling off stuff about it.
Zoe rolls a pretty poor insight check, so she's immediately just gonna go into engineer mode. She goes, "Oh yeah, you notice? Look at this thing. I bet custom machined this myself." And like pulls up her sleeve to reveal like the gear assembly around the elbow. She goes, "Yeah, and it works as a digistruct pole. How fucking fancy is that?"
Nice.
And you and her like walk ahead of the group as you both just babble off random tech and schematic information.
Get in good with the techie. That's always the best move when you get on a new ship.
Abigail goes, I love that we're all getting pretty charming here already, but we need to get the fuck out of this sector fast. And Z kind of snaps out of it, Zoe, if you will. And she goes, oh yeah, fucking right. Hey, little guy, why don't you stick here with me and help prime the engines here? And Abigail calls the rest of you. You're all welcome to join me on the control deck. We will have a bit of a more formal talk after this, but right now we got to go.
I needed that immediate invite into the engine room. I gotta have that if I'm playing a sci-fi character that's got tech skill. That is if we end up spending a lot of time on the ship, that's where I'm going to spend most of my time.
Awesome. So Zoe marches you through like a little like door that open, and you begin to walk into the engine room where all the rest of you guys begin making your way up several flights of stairs. The ship is very rickety. Like the engine takes up a massive amount of the ship. So like the walkways are like suspended catwalks above like whirring machinery.
I can't grab onto a pipe and accidentally like rip it off, and I'm like, nope.
Steam floods out, and Abigail like just looks up at you, and he's like, "Hey Zoe, you want to send maintenance over to the entryway catwalk here? We already got an issue." And she looks at you and goes, "Hey, big girl there. Be just a little bit more gentle with the ship here. You know, like loving touch."
I'm sorry. I don't know my own strength sometimes.
So you guys are walking past. You do see there are floors to this thing. Like the first floor is like the docking station, repair decks, the engine room. As you make your way up, you see that there is like a nice mess hall area. There's several like shops, I guess you could maybe call them. They are like different things. Abigail calls back. She's like, "I'll give you the full tour in a minute, but like I say, we gotta go." And quickly ushers you back up several, another rickety flight of stairs onto the top floor where you make your way into the control deck. As the doors open, you step through and immediately are greeted by just an enormous central computer in the center of this control deck. And it is giving you just kind of like a three-dimensional rendering of the ship in empty space. If anything were to come into that empty space, that would probably register as well, but for right now it's just like a line rendering of the ship. There's a giant viewing port. It's like a screen that is projecting a view outside. It's not physically like glass, but it's showing just empty space in all directions. And Abigail goes and takes her seat. Zoe, you and Fidget, you guys enter the main engine room, which is just machinery and whirring noises and bright lights and all of like everything. Like this is like where the ion engines are primed. And Zoe begins walking you through the process of all this. It's like, oh yeah, see what you gotta do when you come in here, like pull down this lever, hit this button 3 times, not 4, 3. 4, it'll flood the engines, it'll be very bad. And just kind of begins walking around, and the engine begins to spark up.
Nice.
And Zoe begins walking over to the computer and punching in certain like coordinates and different math equations. She is calculating the implosion drive trajectory. Is this so you haven't really been off world that much here, or if ever? So this might be your first time actually seeing an implosion drive.
Yep.
roll me a tech check. We'll see how much you know about the implosion drive.
14.
All right, so you're aware of at least the guiding principle of it. It basically, using a variation on like quantum mechanics, it fires like a particle like faster, like through the speed of light, which connects 2 points in space, collapsing the empty space via a wormhole that allows for instantaneous faster than light travel. And as she punches in all these various sequences and equations in the computer, like the engines, and she calls over the intercom. All right, Abby, we're good. Let's go. And back on the control deck, Abby turns to you all. He's like, "All right, brace yourself. Here we go." Pulls the thruster forward. Space seems to extend out before you for a second, and then you're rocketing as Star Warsing and streaks of light pull past the windows. Just colors and whirring light just move past this viewing port. And then, as quickly as you started, it's over. And you're at a different point in space. Still largely empty. Abigail pulls over the comm. He's like, "Hey, Zoe, we made it. We're all good here." And turns to you and goes, "Yeah, we are, we've just moved 3 sectors away, and we're going to be heading, I'm going to be navigating us over to a nice little station where we can rest and refuel, and I got someone that I got to talk to now that this bank job's done here. I assume you probably have some questions. Now that we're thousands of light years away from your home world, I think maybe we should have a talk." And she calls over the intercom and she goes, "Hey, Zoe, why don't you come up here and bring the little guy?" And Zoe down in the engine room turns to you and goes, anytime you want to know more about the ship, just come on down. We could always use an extra set of hands. Our last assistant engineer, well, you know how it goes in space. Brilliant. You are, so you join up with the rest of the crew up on the control deck and, kind of all, like, convene, but Abigail's like, yeah, so we can talk here if you want. We can go down the canteen, get some food and, some drinks or whatever, and have more of it. It's not really a formal chat I'm looking for here. It's kind of more of a, just kind of see what's going on here. So yeah, would you rather do it up here on the control deck amongst the star screen, or do you want to go get something to nourish yourselves?
I could go for a drink. I've been drinking guys under the table since I was 10 years old.
Well, sounds like you and I could share a parent. Alright, brilliant. So you guys make it down the precarious catwalks to the second floor where you enter the canteen, which is like homey, so to speak. It is essentially a mess hall. It does have several tables, like kind of cafeteria style, but they try to at least keep it so it doesn't seem like that kind of dim dreariness that is like a usual mess hall. And there's a few crew members here and there just kind of eating and drinking. But you're all situated at a table. A robot walks over, just they're very tall, their legs bend backwards like a flamingo's, and is wearing a Kiss the Cook apron and a chef's hat. Their mouth is like a light-up stereo board, and they have one central optic circuit, or optic sensor, I should say. And it comes over, and he goes, "Right, what can I get you tonight?" And Abigail's like, "Oh, just give me a brew."
I'll have a small aquarium of whiskey.
Small aquarium waiting for the bony lass.
Can I get a burger, please? That would be soups cool.
I'll also have a whiskey, but smaller than the ladies, and you are stimulating far too many of my senses at one time, my metal friend. If you could slow yourself down.
You see, it's like literally slows himself down.
I'll just have some fries and a brew.
Abigail comes over and goes, "Oh yeah, where are my manners here? This is our chef. Makes all the food and takes care of the drink and all that. His name is Huami.
Whammy?
Huami. Yeah, we picked up Huami a while back. Yeah, when we found him, he couldn't really remember what his prime directive was. So we fed him a library's worth of chef's books, and he's been with us ever since." And Huami turns back very slowly, and he goes, "Yes, I am the chef."
Oh my god, that's like totes adorbs.
his arm, which is like this big like mechanical claw, like the claw elements like kind of collapse and then switch over to a large meat cleaver. I came with attached cooking equipment, and it switches over to an ice pick, and it switches over to a garret, like piano wire. It's fantastic for cutting meat.
You don't
What kind of meat do you
say.
have? What kinds of meat do you make?
I cook what I'm given. We like to get various strains of protein, including rat meat, skag meat. Chickens are nice.
Got a refined sensibility, this one. I was wrong about you, man. I trust you're doing the right things back there.
As far as food goes, try anything at least once. I'm so excited.
And his hand switches back to the claw, and he and begins to walk back off. Big fucking robot. This guy stands easily like 8.5 feet tall. Just goes off. Several moments later, you come back out. Burger, fries, beers, a large tank of whiskey, and a nice blend of aromatic tea. Not quite like the Truxican style exactly you were hoping for, but it is kind of like a nice spiced chai. You know, it's very aromatic, very soothing. Hints of cinnamon.
Nice.
The burger is rat meat, but smells very nice. Cooked very well. Abigail turns once you've ingested some of your food and drink, and she goes, "All right, so let's open the floor. I got some questions going on in my head, but if anybody has any questions of me, I am the one that put out the job posting. So,
What if nobody competent had shown up to your heist? What was your plan to escape that train station alive?
I didn't get that far. No, I honestly, you know, the Crimson Lance and Atlas, they beefed up their security since we had done kind of our routine check. I'm not entirely clear why, but I wasn't expecting that level of resistance once we reached the spaceport. I thought, you know, as you guys saw, I can move pretty quick when I need to, and yeah, I thought it was gonna be more or less of a cakewalk to once we got out of the actual mercantile district. So that's on me, but hey, I'm sure glad some competent people did show up. Abigail, at this point, she is wearing the large rabbit mask with like the ears and the antlers, so a jackalope mask, if you will. And at that point, she like lifts it off and pulls it up, and you see, I mean, she is a very nice, you know, looking girl there, purple hair, but the left side of her face, from her eye to her cheekbone, is just scarred, like horribly mauled, and has some kind of like an electronic eye placed in. And she goes, but you know, I'm no stranger to danger.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you an Abby? Are you an Abby thing?
Oh, you're talking to Abby, but you're meaning Zoe.
Oh,
yes.
sorry.
Yeah, Zoe is my paramour. We've been together for the better part of half a decade at this point.
Oh, how cute!
Yeah, we actually met very similar in the way that you guys did. A lot of our crew did. We were looking for a job posting. Shit went south really fast, and one thing led to another, and we found ourselves in possession of the Fear Gorta. And
I had a boyfriend.
Go ahead.
I had a boyfriend once, but then I was forced to pummel him to death.
Knew where that was going.
Yeah, all right. Well, you know.
Oh, he wasn't abusive. I just had to pummel him to death.
Oh, okay. Well, it seems like it might
It's
have been
another way of
abusive.
ending an abusive relationship, I guess.
No one said he was the abusive one.
Yeah, I'm getting
No,
the feel of that.
the abuse is over now.
One way or the other, yeah.
Dead.
Well, you know, it was like my boss was like, "Oh, you gotta fight this guy, or you're gonna get another bullet in the head." And I was like, "Okay."
The key word being another. But
Oh yeah. He kind of.
I didn't
Oh yeah.
catch that.
Yeah, I got shot in the head once. It didn't go into my brain. It just kind of grazed across my skull like this. You can see a little bit of a scar here, but yeah.
all right. Well, you got some luck on your side, but yeah. So your boss made you beat your boyfriend to death.
Suppose that's good news for anyone who wants to date me in the future.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can see we definitely have some issues. We do have an onboard therapist, if you're interested. He's a lovely guy. We are after our old doctor, our old physician, passed away untimely. We happened to come across this gentleman, and he's not so much of a physical doctor as he is a mental doctor. But I'll definitely introduce you both.
What's like your mission statement? Like, do you have a specific goal in mind for the Fear Gorta, or like, is it just like adventuring, or are you guys looking to make like a name for yourselves? Like,
Surprisingly insightful from you. Yeah.
I can be smart sometimes.
All right. Well, I suppose if we're gonna get right into the meat of it, I want to hire you guys as what I like to call hunters. You're basically my boots on the ground, if you will. I am not above going out into missions, as you've seen, sometimes a little more recklessly, but traditionally I'm the captain of the ship, and I usually tend to set up the meets and the plans and kind of operate in that. But what I need are ground soldiers. I need hunters. I like to cause trouble. Trouble for the people that make this universe worse to live in. Usually that involves mega corporations. We've been disrupting chain supply lines to various like rim worlds, helping revolutionaries and militias when we can. Taking down giant corrupt banking systems is always nice. On a more personal note, I have a couple I'm looking to find. It's two sisters, as it were. Without getting too much into it at this moment, there's a couple people that used to work on this ship. They were hunters. When we first formed this ship, they were with us when we first established the Fear Gorta. Called them the hyenas. They were brilliant at their job, man. In and out, quick and easy. Always a pleasure. Stuck with us for years, and then out of the blue, for one reason, they just decided to fuck off. Betrayed us, left us stranded on Socanus, stole our old implosion drive, crippled the ion engine. Like, we were stuck there for a better part of 6 months. That's where we lost a lot of the crew. Socanus is a bit of a war-torn planet, and the local inhabitants were hostile at best. Along with, of course, Vladoff and Dahl and TDO always seemed to be fighting over the planet. So eventually we were able to scavenge enough parts that we were able to get off-world. We started with a crew of about 30, about 12 of us made it out, and we started rebuilding from there. I'm not gonna lie, the hyenas are bastards. Every time I catch up to them, it seems like I just fucking miss them. They're quick and they're hard to find, and I'll be upfront with you. The last group of hunters I sent after them didn't come back, hence the need to hire more. I desperately need to have a conversation with them.
Do they have something you need back?
Nope. I just need to know why.
Wouldn't it just be easier to kill them?
I'm not saying that wouldn't be amenable.
You could kill one, capture the other.
That would also be agreeable. In any combination of it, these people, a lot of my friends died. A lot of good people fucking died, and they were family. They betrayed me. I can't let that go. But while they are extremely difficult to find, we take jobs. We take the jobs we like. As a group, we decide on what jobs we take and find out who it benefits, who it hurts, and try to balance the scales the best we can. That's kind of the mission of the Fear Gorta, is to help those who help others and to hurt those that would take from them.
Can we know the sisters' names?
Yeah, they're the Requiem and Grief.
Requiem and Grief.
Yeah, the hyenas. They're pretty renowned mercs at this point. When we started, they were just a group of thugs. A couple, thugs. Like I said, siblings. Yeah, they were always ruthless, but they were good. They were good people. I don't know what changed, but I can't wait to find out.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like we've already been through a bit of an interview, which is good because, I don't keep a resume, obviously, and for reasons we all understand in this line of work. So, I would just say, if I had a resume, I think revenge would be something that I sort of specialize in, and I like a lot of what you've had to say so far. So, I'd take the job.
I'm sorry, love. What did you say?
Oh, I was just saying, kill one, bring back the other. Is that it?
Yeah. As far as those two go, like we'll come up with a good plan once I get wind of where they're hiding this time. But I appreciate if you're all up for accepting this job offer. You know, it obviously comes free food and lodging, and we take jobs and kind of divvy up the ante on them. Local jobs or jobs that are important. Basically, if you accept this, like, it means we're family, and families look out for one another, and that's what I expect.
I've never had a family, like a real family.
In the way things went, getting out of there, I could think of worse people to call family in a spot like that.
Yeah, I mean, for my money, like, you guys were pretty great, honestly. Like, more than I had expected, for sure, and you saved my ass, which I know Zoe can't thank you enough for that, even if she does come off a little cold at times. She'll warm up.
So, like, at the mention of family, Fidget starts fidgeting more, and just looks up and goes, "So, we get to live on the ship?"
Yeah, I mean, you know, we dock from time to time. The ship needs repairs, or, you know, like, you know, sometimes we just take extended stays on planets, which is kind of nice, and then we can get off the ship and kind of get our land legs back. But yeah, for the most part, there's rooms for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's rooms for all of you. We
get our own room?
Yeah, y'all get your own room. You can, yeah, you know, yeah, as you guys are finishing your meal, she invites you to get up and goes, why don't we, I'll give you a quick tour of the ship here, and you guys can get your bearings. You've obviously seen the top floor is reserved for the control deck mostly. You'll have to forgive the state of things. It's you know, we've seen some troubles here and there, but we're you know, it's a labor of love, if you will. Stepping out of the canteen and directly walking across like this H bend in a catwalk going straight across. There is a shop, if you will. Large blast doors open. She goes, "This is Arms and Armory in here." And as you peek in, you immediately see 2 tinks. One is actively firing an assault rifle at another that is protected by an orb shield. It's just like the guy being fired on is just checking his watch as it's like bing, 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 bing. Whoa, I just knocked my shit off.
Oh yeah, this looks familiar.
She bangs on the side of the wall here, ping, ping, and they both stop and look, and he goes, "Oh yeah, so these are the triplets, Mickey, Nicky, and Ricky." Mickey introduces himself, the guy that was being shot at. So he is a tink, but he's kind of just got like a burly chest, you know, like rugged looking build to him, even though he stands like 3 feet tall, maybe. He's like I said, very muscle. He's wearing a flak vest. He's got like dark hair that's trimmed very short along the sides, and he's sporting like a pretty nice beard that comes down to like a point. "Alright, new recruits here? Yeah, I'm Mickey. I handle armor and shields primarily, stuff that keep you up and running. If you ever need anything, you feel free to check me. We try to pick up stuff when we're on planets and work with what we got." Looking over, there is a small tink girl. She's wearing a service cap, smoking a cigar, has several tattoos of various skulls and snakes and the like all over her arms. Turns, pulls the cigar in her mouth, and she goes, "Hi, my name's Nikki. I work with all the guns here on the ship, and, you know, I like to put holes in shit." And then just ejects a mag clip forcibly from this rifle that is way too big for her to be wielding. And it just, like, across the ground.
Your tattoos are totes a maze.
Well, thank you, love. I suppose I can give you one if you're looking for it.
Oh, I'll definitely take you up on that at some point.
I work with all kinds of guns, honey. Finally, you hear like bzz, 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 and then a little explosion happen off in the distance, and very much Looney Tunes style, a tink hits the ground with his hair smoking, and he goes, "Damn it! I almost had it that time!" And you see salt and pepper hair sticking straight up with smoke wafting off of it, wearing goggles that make his eyes look like twice as big as they already are, and being a tink already look pretty fucking big to begin with, and the tattered remnants of a lab coat. And he turns and he goes, "Oh, we have company! Hi, the name's Ricky. I handle the tech and explosives."
Nice.
Yeah, and Abigail is like, "Yeah, the triplets, Mickey, Nicky, and Ricky. Anything you need destroyed, or more so, they pretty much got you covered on that." just be careful around Nikki and Ricky. They're a little crazy at times. Mickey's the sane one of the group. Pulling away, you do find there is like a med quarters, but no doctor, because the doctor is not here for various reasons unknown. Nevertheless, Abigail shows you, opens it up, and he goes, as I was explaining, this is Doc Strawman. He's the ship's therapist, as it were. We found him on Sarcanus, living out of a box on a street corner, and just kind of took a shine to him. And you see that this older-looking gentleman, which is a big white beard and a balding hairline, long, like Skullet style, shock white hair, and yeah, he's just very chill, smoking something that he's got rolled up. And he turns and he goes, "Oh, hey, man, yeah, welcome. I'm here to help if you got troubles. It's always good to create, like, you know, an open dialogue about these kind of things. We can have it, you know, just sit, chat, jam, you know what I mean?" Abigail's like, "Yeah, so, these two ladies over here are having, they might have some feelings they need to work out. Maybe you guys could get to know each other a little bit better." He goes, "Oh, yeah, man, like, I love, like, whatever you got, like, I'm here for it."
They say I should get therapy, but I don't know if that's true.
Hey, you know, it never hurts to talk. Abigail ushers you back down. You make your way just to, like, the bottom deck is shared quarters. Like, you do have, like, the big engine room, and then, like, the right above that lies the more or less a lot of the crew quarters. There are, like, big communal areas where, you know, like, hired hands, like jobbers that come and go with each docking. You know, they're just basically hired on at contracts. But there are 5 rooms available that are just single, like 15 by 15 quarters. They have like a bed and a desk and not much else. But Abigail's like, "Yeah, you know, not much to look at, but they're yours to do what you want with them." That's pretty much everyone on the ship, except for, like, a lot of deckhands just kind of moving to and fro, skittering about here and there. They just repair this, take care of that, clean this, that kind of stuff. Overall,
Ooh.
you figure there's probably maybe a total of 20 people on the ship.
Yeah, Fidget is very excited to set up. Well, very, very excited to get situated in his room, but also to check out the engineering and the quartermaster section.
So Abigail turns and she goes, "All right, well, we're gonna be heading towards a local station that kind of operates outside the bounds of the legal system and, like, the general corporatocracy that pervades our universe. It's a lovely place called Fiafia, and we're gonna hit there, do some refueling, make a few repairs, and we're gonna talk to somebody about this job that we just pulled off here. Since we came out of warp drive, it put us in the range, but given the kind of legal standing of the Fiafia, it's not something you can just warp travel to. So it's gonna take us, you know, the better part of the next day or so to kind of make our way in there. But so you guys are free to get acclimated here aboard the Fear Gorta. If you have any more questions and stuff, I'm open and here for it.
I think Chimi is going to decorate her room and make a private call.
And what does everyone else think? Like, obviously a big rest is in order, but anybody else have anything in particular they want to kind of do as you have a few hours before you bed down?
I think Hobbes will take the captain's advice and make his way back to Whammy and see if there is any sort of fresh anything on board, you know, fruit, produce, anything besides rat meat, unless, you know, or rat meat, and try and get him to tell me a story about his life before culinary arts.
I forgot to mention that this whole time I'm still, like, carrying him out around my aquarium of whiskey just casually.
Duck is probably gonna go around and try to look for stuff to steal.
Oh boy. Yeah,
Oh god.
You got anything that I can use as, like, a punching bag, or just something that I can, like, you know, make sure I'm not gonna get soft or anything during this downtime?
Cool. Yeah, she calls over to Zoe and be like, "Hey, Zoe, we need some kind of punching bag-ish type thing. Can we work something up like that?" And she calls back. He's like, "Logistically speaking, I suppose you can use the scales off the rat carcasses and then, you know, kind of fluff them up with some sand or something in the middle. We might be able to work that out. Be a little tough on the hands, but probably not too bad."
Tough on the hands. Yeah, you're cute. You're cute.
Alright, cool. Over the next, like, couple hours, you kind of meander about until one of the deckhands brings up a large rat carcass punching bag. Which is made out of, like, the scaly fins of the rats that have kind of been, like, glued to, or, you know, meshed together with, like, basically a sack of gravel and sand. Whole thing weighs probably about 80 pounds. Good heavy bag.
The tinks. Are we waiting until we get to where we're going to buy and sell stuff, or can we do it like on the ship?
They might be able to take some stuff off of you. They're generally more in for like the modifying and repairing of stuff, but they might buy some crap off you, and they do sell ammunition and that kind of stuff that they pick up. But Fiafia will also have plenty to go around. You know what, Hobbes? You probably have the best knowledge of Fiafia. I don't know. You can tell me if you think Hobbes has ever been to Fiafia, but I know you've pulled some missions in the past.
So I'm not sure how specifically familiar he is with like the localities on various outworlds, but he did shuttle pilot corp missions for a couple of years, so if it's a well-trodden path, he'll probably know like the names of spaceports and or the common landing grounds or cities or settlements.
Fair enough, yeah. So you would know, I think, that Fiafia is a bandit outpost. Like a do-not-fly zone, like generally avoided by people. Yeah, it's just a large floating space station that is owned and operated by bandits. But there will be, like, various trade ports. It's basically like a floating township, almost. But if you wanted to talk to the triplets, you certainly could.
So what I'm looking for, my wish list, as it were, is to sell off one of my shotguns, my shield, and my SMG to get an uncommon SMG.
Yeah, so you make your way in, and the triplets are all working on various projects, but do you want to approach Mickey, Nicky, or Ricky?
I was like, Mickey, Nicky, and Ricky, that's easy enough to remember. Completely forgot which one was which as soon as you asked me which one I wanted to go to. Probably Mickey.
Alright.
I think. If Mickey mostly does guns and orb shields, that sounds like the one to talk to.
Yeah. Awesome. You walk in, go up to Mickey. Turns is currently working on trying to install like a Nova mod onto an orb shield. And Turns, he goes, "Oh, jeez, oh, hey, what's going on? What you need?"
Oh, hey, yeah, I was, looking like, I just kind of like point to various pieces of gear I have, which a lot look like the orb shield especially looks like I pieced it together from other orb shields. And I was like, I was looking to maybe get some upgrades. That shield you were shooting at looked really impressive.
Well, it's a work in progress. This tinkering, it's a Hyperion shield we managed to get off world, so it's pretty sturdy. But
oh, nice. I tend to be more of a fan of the Anshin ones myself.
Oh, Anshin's nice. Yeah, we don't get too many Anshin around, but they're good stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to upgrade that, I could probably help with that a bit.
Do you have any whatever they would call them in game? I don't know if they'd call them uncommon. I guess they'd call them like tier 2 or something.
Right.
Like I just go anything along the lines of a model, blah blah blah, whatever the uncommon model of an Anshin shield would be. I like the Maliwan SMGs. So I ask if he's got like a Maliwan SMG that's better than the one I got.
Oh, I unfortunately don't have any. Because of hey Nicky.
Hey.
What do we got for we got any mods for Maliwan weapons here? And she goes, oh well, let me have a look see here. And she goes, yeah, we could probably change out those grips here. This thing will be able to, sustain like a little bit more power passing through the elemental chambers of the Maliwan guns. It's so fucking complicated. Whatever happened to firing bullets? What's with this plasma shit?
Oh, I like it. They're versatile. If I want to electrocute someone, I electrocute them. If I want to burn them, I burn them.
But yeah, I mean, if you're looking installing a mod, the pots and the labor and stuff, obviously we try to scratch out a bit of a living here. We're happy to cut, some friends, some little bits of juice here and there over there, but still, installing a mod about this size generally runs about $800.
Do you want me to since flavor-wise we're like upgrading an existing one, do you want me to take like the sell price of the common one, subtract it from the buy price of the uncommon one, and just kind of sort it out that way?
Yeah, that works for me. Just so everyone knows here, generally speaking, if you're looking to install common mods on your machine, shields or firearms or armor, common mods generally run about $500, give or take. Uncommon mods generally run anywhere between around $800, give or take, depending on if it's armor mods are a little cheaper. Orb shields and firearms get more complicated, so they cost more to have installed. And generally, Mickey, Nikki, or Ricky can install something for you. Zoe can also handle it, or if you want to try to get the part and install it yourself, you can, as long as you have some kind of tool that you are able to use, like tinker's tools, mechanics tools, that kind of stuff.
I lost track of where the damage is on the sheet.
But cool. If you want to do that and subtract out, if you're trading in the Terminator to go along with this mod, that's the Terminator is a common that generally sells for.
Yeah, it usually sells for $350, so it'd be $175.
Yeah. So subtract that.
Forgot.
Subtract that from the 8, and yeah, we can totally get you rocking with. So the grip is the terminal grip, so it will upgrade. You will have a terminal nebula.
2 things, if possible. I'm going to go to who sells armor, Mickey, and see if he has any. Just had it pulled up. Executive armor.
But we'll get some. Fiafia will have something for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the armor and rifle was an even trade.
Yep.
You said? Okay, cool.
Yep. You'll be able to, they can swap it out just for the extra added parts of it. Usually the executive armor brand new costs $400, but working with you a little bit, they were able to drop it down, and yeah, you can do an even swap for the gun.
OME, yeah, that's the ticket. I was just wondering if you had anything. I should have probably eaten before I put whiskey on top of coffee, but something that grew out of the ground, even the dusty, infertile ground that seems to be most of where I visit recently. Anything living once upon a time that you could not ratch. I mean, I'll have ratch if that's all there is, but.
Yeah, he brings you around to there is a kind of a large freezer type refrigerator apparatus on the ship, and kind of opens it up, and you do see several whole rat carcasses hanging on hooks, several more plates and bins of various meats that are all a little strange, but fair enough, I suppose. And tucked behind you got there's several various multicolored fruits. Some have blue and white stripes, others are very red with tinges of yellow and stuff, and he goes, all of these fruits are edible in the right circumstance.
How many of those circumstances are uncooked?
He reaches in and pulls out there's a blue one with flecks of white and stuff. He goes, this provides this is a Circanus Neptune, and it is very fruitful and juicy when ripe, which thanks to the freezer here, we have been able to keep it at that condition for some time now.
So I will take it very appreciatively and just sort of hold it with a sense of sort of almost
a papaya.
reverence.
Yeah, this is a big fucking fruit. The skin's pretty tough on it. Probably have to peel the skin off. But once you crack it open, you see the fruit inside is extremely like this pinkish red color, and it just drips with juice. That is very acidic, but also a little bit sweet.
Kwame, you get me.
Yes, I would highly recommend cooking any of the other fruits and vegetables in here, as there are some that react violently with the human anatomy, if not prepared properly.
I'm going to defer to you. In fact, I encourage you to step in and offer any expertise you might have when it seems like I am making a decision incompatible with human anatomy.
I will endeavor to do my best.
What, if you don't mind my asking, is your culinary background that brings you to this occupation? You seem suited for a pretty, let's say, robust or rigorous or violent kitchen environment.
When Captain Abigail found me, my prime directive had been wiped from my memory. And they decided to employ me as the chef, as their ship was currently in need of it, and gave me a wealth of knowledge about the subject, and I've been doing it ever since. It is pleasant.
Where did they find you?
They found me while they were stranded on Sarkanus. It was the middle of a war-torn nation. Vladov and Dahl had combat there for the better part of a decade, employing all manner of man and machine to do their bidding. It was there in a ditch in a blast crater that I was discovered, mostly non-functional, until Zoe was able to restore my power.
So I'll just say, it's funny. Somebody told me that you had funny stories to tell, but they must have meant kitchen anecdotes.
I have had several incidences since I began cooking. Yes. Let's say the fruit came from trial and error at first. Sarkanus is a wildly, just a strange world in comparison to others. Many of the fruits like to fight back, as it were. So preparing them, there was one gentleman who pulls out one of the brightly red and yellow ones, ate one of these raw, and immediately burst into flames. It was a struggle to put him out. It took the better part of 3.5 minutes to chase him down, and another minute to beat him to the ground before the fire was extinguished. Unfortunately, at that point, he had expired.
I'd prefer not to eat anything that can't be beaten with a nice stop, drop, and roll. Self.
It was very strange, because the fire emanated from the fruit, which was in his stomach, so fire was genuinely erupting from the gentleman. Most orifices you humans have were just gouts of flame.
Well, on the bright side, he is probably glad it killed him.
I would assume from his screams of terror.
Content with nothing but this fruit for now, with my appetite. Well, I mean, thank you for the story. Thank you.
This is, and you see his legs kind of bend, setting him into a resting place as he stirs the food with a large serrated knife that just kind of flips from his hand. Chimi, tell us how you've decorated your room.
Due to the nature of her being here and stuff, she doesn't really have a whole lot. She does hang up a fancy pantsuit looking outfit. I'm assuming they have closets.
Yeah.
But she hangs it up in there, and she deconstructs this crudely sewn Moofant plushie and pops it onto the bed. And she's like, "There we go, Moofy. We have a new home." And pulls out one last thing, and it's a framed photo of her and one of her older brothers, the only one that really matters, and sets it down on the desk.
Nice. And as you stare at the image of your brother, you realize you haven't talked really, like, since you left your parents. But you said you wanted to send a message. Is that what you were looking for?
Yes.
Awesome. Pulling up the projected screen on your Echo Dex version 2, you you log in. You had set up your brother, and you've been communicating via an encrypted channel for a little while now, as it was always kind of the safest means since your brother, Miles, I believe it was.
Yes.
It was always kind of off-world, working with a squadron, doing various things on behalf of the UN Corporation. So it was always easiest to communicate via that, without worrying about prying eyes here and there. So what do you send to your brother?
She's just gonna send like a message, be like, "Hey, my, I am, in transit right now, so I figured it was safe to call you. I wanted to check in, see how you're doing. I've made contact with a crew, and they all seemed really nice, so I'm safe, if you were wondering. Do you think they've noticed yet?" And yes.
Awesome. It takes the better part of an hour as you kind of just like sit there playing with your movement plushie and kind of just, lost in your own head, and then your Echo Dex pings, and in it is a message from Mile, and goes, Chimi, I'm so glad to hear from you. I hate to say it, I don't know if Mom and Dad have noticed yet. You know how they are. They're usually preoccupied, and, I think any one of us could disappear for a couple days without them noticing, but they will. They'll know. Obviously, I'm not saying anything. I'm on Eden 5 right now. We're running a few spec ops for part of the UN, looking into various new advancements in tech that have been happening at the Tech Institute here. All very boring stuff, but sometimes the boring's nice. But I haven't heard any word. I did get a ping. Apparently there was a bit of chicanery that happened on Promethea, and apparently you had something to do with it. You might want to check the local leaderboards, because I think Mom and Dad might notice sooner or later based on that alone. But I'm glad to see you're doing well. I'm glad you got friends, and I look forward to hearing more. You got nothing but greatness ahead of you, Chimi. I know that.
Aww.
On his suggestion, do you check the EchoNet?
Yes.
You do see that your face was caught on camera, and also that that Lance soldier that you placed a pin on was talking about you guys quite a bit. You also see that Tegan and Hobbes were also caught on camera.
At least they got our good sides, I guess.
Currently, bounties are being placed on your head by the Golden Truths. Wanted for trespassing, theft, and questioning. But
she just sends back, "Yeah, I mean, I look pretty cute, though, I guess."
A few more minutes pass, and he goes, "Hey, you always look great, Chimi. That hair is spectacular. I wouldn't worry about the Golden Truths too much. The Atlas ain't gonna buy into it that much, but, the Golden Truths might send some people your way. If you get into too much trouble, try to give me a heads up. I'll see what I can do about it. I'll see if I can't squash a little bit of the hostile, adversarial nature of this. If you're interested, I can see what kind of magic I can pull out."
Aw, thanks, my. I'm trying to get through all this stuff on my own, but if I get into too big of a pickle, I'll make sure to reach out.
All right. I would say I know you want Mom and Dad to notice, and they will. I mean, come on, they will. I mean, they're super intelligent. If I know they're oblivious, but even they can't be that dumb. But try to avoid fucking with the corporation too much if you can, because you know we're all employed by the corporation. If you could stay off their radar, I mean, they're not going to matter if you're pissing off Atlas or pissing off like Dahl or T or any of the, you know, they're rival companies, so that's all good. But you start poking your nose in their business, and probably just not a good idea, Kimmy. You know how it means. You know that'll definitely get the wrong kind of attention from mom and dad.
Yeah, I'll do my best, you know. Like, and echo casting and stuff, it can get pretty messy, but I don't think we're going to be going to Corey anytime soon.
Alright. Well, that sounds good. I look forward to seeing the Kimmy cast. When are you uploading that? I mean, they're already talking about it.
I'm gonna be uploading in just a couple minutes, actually, for my first video and stuff. It's gonna be a bit of a doozy, I think.
Alright, well, make sure you ping me when you send it, because I'll definitely check that out.
Aw, thanks, big bro. You're the best.
Yeah, of course, little sis, you're the best. Awesome, and you close the encrypted echo channel, and yeah, you can go about your business.
Alright. She's gonna set the video to upload in the background so that she can have her echo thing down while she's kind of wandering around and exploring and stuff. She's thinking about taking Nikki up on that tattoo.
Brilliant. Alright. So you set your stuff down. Shortly after Duck and Fidget, you kind of cross paths as they're leaving the armory. Do you inform anybody of the wanted status, or are you keeping that to yourself?
She's just gonna poke her head in to see Hobbes and be like, "Hey Hobbes, we're like famous. You, me, and Tegan, what's up?"
That's terrible news. But thanks. Thanks for letting me know.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, all exposure is good exposure. You should probably check the leaderboard, though, because they're going to start doling out bounties soon.
Yeah, well, bounty is sort of exactly the type of exposure that I was looking to avoid, so if anything, I'm getting exposed faster than I like.
Totally fair. We probably should not have kept that guard alive then.
You immediately pull up the Echo Net and on your old-fashioned Echo device, but you see that a lot of like the pictures that were snapped of you are very grainy, but they were taken by the security cameras in the Bean There Cafe, as well as descriptions of you guys from the sole surviving Lance soldier.
It's hearsay. It's conjecture. Mere conjecture. I'm immediately reassured.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. If it gets too bad, I can call in, like, a favor, I suppose.
No, it shouldn't come to that, as long as, you know, we don't sign off on all of our accolades.
I have no idea what, like, 3 of those words mean.
We didn't leave any souvenirs with that guard that we left alive, right?
I might have put a pin on him. You know,
Is that part of your brand?
Yeah, it's branding. You know, every Echo caster has to be like, you know, they have to be well known, and I'm trying to get fans right now. I see now that might have been a mistake.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but for me, you know, you're a difficult follow because, you know, there's a chain there.
Yeah, thank you so much for being honest. I will definitely adjust for future endeavors.
Yeah, and I will start wearing my helmet out, I think, when we're on jobs.
Sounds like fun. Could be a good idea. Do you like Spec Ops or something?
I'll call it Spec Ops, just to make it sound more impressive.
And then she's just gonna kind of like keep walking and stuff and be like, "Hey Tegan, we're famous! Hello!"
I thought you were the famous one.
I am just starting out, but thank you so much for the boosting confidence. But yeah, we got onto the leaderboards, so bounties, stuff like that.
How much are
Hobbs
we
is
worth?
way less excited about it than I am.
How much are we worth?
That's a good question. I haven't checked in a minute.
Oh, I bet it's a lot.
I mean,
Maybe.
it makes you the most famous people I've ever met.
Hey, that is a good point.
Currently, the Golden Truce is placing a $10,000 bounty for any information that leads to your guys' arrest.
Oh, damn.
That good value if I made like less than 10% of my own bounty accumulated on that same job. It doesn't seem sustainable, at least, right? I mean,
They'll have to drop it eventually.
God.
Definitely not as much as some of the other bounties I've seen. I saw one that had like a laundry list of crimes and stuff. It was so long it needed 2 pieces of paper, and it was like 2 million. But, you know, could be worse, could be better. Who knows? It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, it's a lot more than what my mom and dad sold me as, so...
We know we are worth something. And these people know we're worth something, so fuck all them.
Oh, you know what? You know what I should do? I should take this, find my mom and dad, and rub it in their face.
I became
Yeah,
something,
that
Dad.
sounds like a wonderful idea. Get your revenge, girl.
No,
Up there.
before
No.
I kill them.
I never thought of it from this point of view. You're both really sort of encouraging me.
That's never something I was ever considering personally, but like, you do you know?
I love like thinking about like Chimi now versus future Chimi. It's like so stay away from the corporation and like, well, I mean, I guess that was a bad idea, but I'm trying to get started. Meanwhile, future Chimi is like casting you're like podcasting, like live streaming, like blowing up a UN building, like a UN black site.
What's up, King Gas?
I love it.
Brilliant. Cool. Is there anything else anybody wants to do before we decide to take a long rest? And
I'm just gonna grab some pistol ammo.
oh, you said you wanted to get a tattoo from Nikki.
Yeah,
She's
she's gonna get a drippy smiley face on her left bicep.
all right. Nikki's like, oh, duh, I love that. It's so artistic and chic. I think it's gonna be great on you.
Oh my god, thank you so much!
And the sounds bzz, 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 begin to echo through the halls for the next hour as you get like this drippy Grateful Dead smiley face.
And Hobbs bop in during the tattoo session and just ask if Nikki has parts for Jacob's pistols.
So, working on the Marshall, after about an hour, Hobbs, you pick that back up and eyeball it. It's very nice. You now have a polite Marshall. Comes with an extended body accessory that kind of just lengthens the barrel a little bit, gives it a little more added stability when firing.
Beauty.
And you guys bed down to rest, as it's going to take us several more hours to get to Fiafia. But yeah, everyone, you can re-up your health points and just, anything else that you get from your long rest here. But before you do rest, Hobbs, as you're laying in your room on your berry bed, have you decorated any of the room with any kind of personal paraphernalia? Or are you just in the stark, barren, metal, clunking room?
Yeah, it's probably pretty Spartan in there right now. I'm sure I'm sort of ideating a little bit of pizzazz for my space here, but right now it's got, it'll have my one red jacket hanging on the wall, and then probably nothing else.
Alright.
Some guns laying on the desk.
Nice. Cool. As you're laying in bed, the fact that you have a bounty on your head's kind of sitting a little rough with you, and you begin kind of scanning through the EchoNet channels, and you land on an EchoCast that's like a newscast, off of Promethea. And there's a very, like, radio-style 1930s guy who's like, the Golden Truth Universal Bank was attacked this morning. While the bandits made off with a significant amount of credits, our sources say that was not the worst of it. Apparently the criminals, some might call terrorists, had planted some form of EMP device that completely wiped out the master terminals housed within the vaults of the Golden Truths. These sources, which will remain anonymous, tell us that the debt of thousands, if not millions, of mortgages across the universe have been erased. Our in-house experts say that if the reports coming in are true, it may be impossible for the Golden Truths to recover this lost information. We've reached out for comment from the Golden Truths, but they have not responded at this time. Many bandits were apprehended by the Promethea police force in the Crimson Lance, but more managed to escape to locations unknown. Atlas CEO Reese Strongport has issued a statement saying the Lance is looking into this. More on this story as it develops. And you through the channels of the Echo Net, fighting various things, and you're just like, buy Explodios! Sandy beaches and enthralling cities. Visit the newest addition to the Galactic Registry, Pele, now. And you keep just kind of funneling through random bullshit, just kind of absent-mindedly. The Echo Net's version of doom scrolling, if you will. Until you hear something that stops you dead in your tracks. It's a chant. One that you instantly recognize. And you feel like your heart kind of skip a beat for a second as the words chanted through the Echo Net. Forces tremble at the very shake. The quake grows fierce to end my chains. Earth englaive to impale the flesh, granting my foes eternal rest. And then there's a slight moment of pause at the end of this command that you are very aware of, and you hear shh, and a voice comes on. A voice you're very familiar with. And it says, in Kaidu, your face is posted all over Promethea. It's honestly good to see you. I've missed you, but I won't miss again. See you soon.
Why did I just get chills?
And then back to the chants. With immortal earth within my fangs, the quake grows fierce to end my chains. Forces tremble at the very shake, falling prey to my raging quake. Earth englaves to impale the flesh, granting my foes eternal rest. And you turn off your Echo device.
Ah, shit.
Super creepy.
A rest is had. For some varying degrees of unrest has been had, but you nonetheless, sleeping in space, like Hobbes, you might be familiar with it. For the rest, and Chimi, you're probably a little familiar, but for the rest of you, there's no light source. It's just, you go to sleep and you wake up at some time. There's like this cognitive dissonance as to exactly how long you've been asleep, and you kind of have to like check timepieces and realize that like, you have rested, but like nothing is visually changed around you. But eventually you guys are all boom over the intercoms. It goes, oi, message to our hunters here. We are about to approach Fiafia. If you would all please come up. And you guys are summoned to the control deck. So it basically looks more or less like a floating triangle surrounded by all of these rings that just kind of encompass it in like over and over again. It's like a monstrous hunk of metal. Ships are buzzing all around it. The movement makes the exterior station look like it's kind of alive and wriggling with the amount of like movement that's happening throughout it. All of these rings are docking stations, with the central like triangle shape being like the actual bulk of the station itself. And as you guys grow closer, eventually the ship is dwarfed by the immensity of this fucking station, how big it is. Like, it seems very small, and the closer you get, it just becomes bigger and bigger. Abigail opens the channel, and it's not long before you hear, incoming vessel, state your call sign and purpose. She opens it up. She goes, Fear Gorta, look in the dock. Purpose. Leisure, and I gotta see an old friend. I gotta talk to. And the station comes back. Fear Gorta, you have some heat on you. Abigail replies, yeah, always station. We, but hey, we're clean now. Laying low, looking to dock. Station comes back. You know the score, Fear Gorta. Your kind of heat brings trouble. Please turn around and leave now. And Abigail kind of like smirks over at you guys, and station goes, now station, I and Clive won't appreciate me being late for our meeting. No telling who he'll take his frustrations out on if I'm not there. And there's silence for a moment, for about a solid minute before station, come in. And Vine, psh, fair enough, Fear Gorta. Take docking station 239. What's that, station? Didn't copy that. Psh, it goes, dock 230, out and over. Abigail just kind of giggles to herself a little bit. She goes, you know, what can I say? I got a little bit of pull around you. But Abigail begins to maneuver around the various rings of the docking station before she finds docking station 230. And with that, you enter the docking station passing through this atmosphere retention field, which the ship just kind of passes through without causing a huge vacuum suction to pull everything out of the docking station, lands. You guys all exit, and like the ship is immediately swarmed with all manner of like creatures and humanoids, like tanks, rats, other humanoids. They all just begin to swarm around and start busying themselves with varying degrees of work. And Abigail, you hear Abigail calls over, and she goes, hey, look, we're gonna need to refuel. We're gonna need to erase the travel logs, and we're gonna need a paint swap too. Wait on my signal for that. And you hear like just the various like rats and things scurrying around the ship. She looks at you guys and goes, don't worry about these guys. These guys are good people. I got a guy I gotta talk to, but you're free to meander about about Fiafia here. Basic rules of etiquette. There are a few, while this is, kind of a uncivilized bastion for people, but it's really just like the last refuge for people that are to act freely in a manner according to their own needs and interests. But it is run by 3 different bandit clans. So the central part is like a neutral zone. Clive kind of sees over the neutral zone. Clive's like the biggest wig here. Like, he's good guy. They call him Iron Clive because he carries around this big hammer. He likes to cave skulls in with it. The bandit clans, you don't want to try to kick up too much trouble around the various. Like, each one has their own sector they're kind of controlling over. I don't want to get into it too much, but if you have any questions, feel free. The controlling clans, we got the Brass Skag Brotherhood, which is kind of, they're a gang, but they kind of run it more like a cult, run by this really smart lady that is pretty strict, but they're all right. They generally tend to deal with like corporate espionage and sabotage and that kind of stuff. The Razor Reapers are your typical biker type gangs, full of big, loud, ugly motherfuckers that like to just kick up and cause trouble. They also run a lot of drugs in and out of the system. And finally, you got the Black Wings, which are just pirates, straight up. They go out and they like destroy spaceships and rob and loot and pillage their way through the grounds. But their captain is one of the funniest ladies you'll ever meet. Like, she's a kicker. Like, very, very nice. You have a chance, look her up. But yeah, basically the rules are: don't fuck with the establishments, don't rob from them. If you're gonna have a fight, make sure to keep property destruction to a minimum. You don't want to call these people down. Try not to cross the bandit gangs, and the biggest and number one rule of all, what Clive says goes. So don't get on the bad side of the big man, alright? But brilliant. You guys step out of the docking station of the spaceport, which takes a minute because you gotta kind of walk around and like find the entranceway, but eventually you are greeted. It is a sprawling, like, it's like a rustic saloon town, but entirely made out of steel. Just metal buildings, metal roofs, metal streets. Like, everything in here is just clunks and clings with rust and patina. Various pipes. Like, the ceiling of this place is, it just goes up and up and up hundreds of fucking feet. It's a big open space. There's just dozens of smaller buildings peppered everywhere, and you can see just by looking at it, like, this place has got everything. You can spy probably half a dozen saloons or bars just in like one central area. You see some weaponsmiths, you see different like pawn shops and fences, clothing stores, jewelry stores, general goods stores. Like, this place is vibrant and full. Every fucking building you pass, there's some 2 guys fighting out in front of it that are just clocking each other. There's drunken people everywhere you look, vomiting and passing out in the streets. The smell of piss is very pervasive. But it's like a non-stop party in this place. Like, there's people everywhere in here. All manner. Thugs, miscreants, mercs, cutthroats, the like. And you see a lot of people wearing specific colors as well. You see some people that are donned with like black and red, some people that are wearing blue and gold, some people that are wearing like this kind of like dingy gray and yellow, like probably the colors of the bandit clans. So they hold some sway in parts of the city. But this is Fiafia. And as you guys make your way out onto Fiafia, Captain Abigail goes, yeah, I gotta go see Iron Clive. I'm having such a hard time with Abigail's accent. I'm all over the place. It's Irish, and it's Australian, and it's Massachusetts, like, it's Southeast, like, I don't know where I'm going with this thing. Hey, if you want to go meet the big man, you're welcome to come with me, otherwise Fiafia is yours to explore. And, Doc Strawman accompanies, Abigail as well. He's like, oh yeah, let's go see the big man. I got some plans he might be interested in.
I guess Hobbes would be inclined to attend that meeting.
Cool. Anybody else want to accompany Captain Abigail, or are you guys going to explore the revelry?
I don't know. I kind of want to explore it. I kind of want to check out the revelry.
I kind of do too.
Yeah, me too.
Alright, so...
I'll check out the meeting.
Alright, you want to come with Abigail? Okay, so you guys decide to split up, 3 of you, with, and then, Hobbes and Chimi with Abigail and Strawman. And, as you're walking, Doc's just kind of just, like, grooving along. We'll start with you guys, Hobbes and Chimi and Abigail and all them. As you guys, so you enter the neutral zone of the section. This is, like, controlled by Clive, but it otherwise is not controlled really at all, so to speak. It's bandit clans have like inner meetings in this kind of place, as well as it's kind of just a free place. A lot of the travelers that are like just like small time bandits and thugs kind of tend to linger in this place as well. The other sections are controlled by the various bandit clans. Clive is in the dead center of this. There's a large building, a metal monstrosity of a mansion, if you will, like just a big fucking metal building. And as you guys approach it, you know, Doc's talking to Hobbes. He goes, yeah, I mean, the medical benefits of this, herbal supplement, it's incredible.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like it's great, but you did just tell me most of that 3 or 4 times in this one walk.
What? Whoa! Oh, yeah,
Don't worry
man.
about it, Doc.
Eventually, you guys make it to this large building that has, like, a very prominent gate featured on it. Abigail, like, hits a buzzer on the side, and a voice comes over, and goes, yes, may I help you? And she goes, hi, here to speak to Iron Clive here. We got some meetings. Tell him Abigail's here. Very well. Hold, please. And moments later, psst, and the gate opens up. And you guys step forth. Inside is, like, this dude's watched a lot of, like, Scarface. It's big red carpets, long staircases, like balconies and railings and big fucking columns and stuff. Like, very nice place. Walking up the stairs to a central office with a big desk, you see this, bigger gentleman. It's like older man, dark skin, no shirt, a lot of tribal tattoos across his chest and arms. Just a big, scraggly, like, salt and pepper beard. Dark fabric, like, wrapped around his waist over, like, pants. And he's got, just sitting next to his chair on his desk is just a big fucking hammer. Like, just a solid chunk of metal on a stick. Think like Samoan Jeff Bridges, if you will.
Nice.
And he immediately stands up and he's like, Abby, get over here. Gives Abby like a big hug before he pulls her back, and he goes, Abby, I hear what's going on Promethea. This whole footage of the robbery, it's gonna kind of put you back a bit here. Technically, we shouldn't even allowed you in with that kind of heat you're pulling. Going after the golden truths, that's a big fucking target to hit. And Abigail's like, oh, Clive, you know me, I don't suffer no fools. We did what we do, and we're here, and we're all the better for it, and I think the universe is better for it. Millions of people are gonna wake up without the crushing boot of Goldman Sachs around their neck. And Clive is kind of like, yeah, but their attention's going to be pretty heavy on you. And Abby's like, yeah, well, that's where you come into the mix here. That's what we're here for, We do a little good for you, you do a little good for us, we pay you some money, you erase some footage, all's well in the world, right? And Clive just kind of sighs and, sits back at his desk. He goes, where are my manners? This is some of our new crew here. We got Chimi, she's delightful and bright and chaotic mess. Hobbes over here is, he's a strict fella, but he's good with a sword and better with a gun. Yeah, and obviously you remember Doc Strawman. He goes, yeah, man, you got those plants we talked about last time. Clive acknowledges you and goes, hi, I'm Iron Clive. I run Fiafia, and welcome, if you will, to if this is your first time here. I hope you enjoy the stay. It gets a little raucous, but if you're looking for work or to lay low, you're in the right place.
Chimi just kind of straightens up a little bit and just says it is such an honor to meet you, sir. I look forward to learning so much.
Wow, nice, polite young lady like yourself. Very good. At this point, you hear barking, and two skags come running in, and just begin to run around and bark at you guys and sniff at you and all this stuff. Their mouths kind of opening, closing as their long tongues lap out. And he goes, "Hey, come on, get out of here. Don't mind."
Oh my gosh, so cute.
And they come over and kind of nuzzle up against Iron Clive for a minute as he rubs them and sends them on their way. He goes, all right. So Abby, what exactly are you looking for? You want some assurances that you're not going to be hunted across the universe again? And Abby's like, well, that's generally kind of nice. And he's just like, I told you, chasing down those debts is going to be hard for the Golden Shrew, so their attention's probably not going to be that turned on you, but they're going to be sending guys after you. That's just the way this fucking business works. You got sloppy. He goes, well, I didn't get sloppy, come on, it's it went off without a fucking hitch. Yeah, we got a little caught up at the spaceport, but other than that, everything was golden the way it was. We slipped in and out. They go back and forth arguing for a little while before Clive finally settles down and agrees. And Abby looks to you guys. Do you have any questions for old Iron Clive here? Is there anything you wanted to... Any reason you accompanied me here besides the obvious of just meeting Iron Clive himself?
I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about negotiation outside of a corporate aspect, so I was hoping to just kind of observe and learn a little bit.
Fair enough. What were you gonna say, Hobbes?
I just wanted to get my bearings and know what was going on, who we're getting into bed with. Not to mention, nice place you got here. It looks too big to do everything in one visit. Anything you would suggest that I can't miss?
Well, the neutral section's always quite good. You're apt to get into more of a row if you go into one of the bandit territories, but as far as we're concerned here, I would say, the bars are always very nice. We got a dozen or more, so we got some nice clubs if you're looking for the nightlife kind of entertainment section, various strings of girls and gambling and the like, and all that kind of debauchery you expect to find amongst this kind of clientele. But really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for jobs, we got jobs. If you're looking for weapons, we got weapons. If you just want to get plastered and have a good time, we got plenty of that.
Right, that sounds like most of what we're looking for.
The rule of Fiafia is basically what a man can do and what a man can't do. And, I can't stand the stink of bureaucracy. So, this place is pretty self-modulated. A bastion for free thinkers and free doing, free souls and free folk.
Well, sometimes my thoughts are so free they get away from me, which brings me here in front of you today.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, you guys are getting in bed with old Abigail, I see. She likes to create a row wherever she goes.
I don't think it's very hard to create trouble, but it does require a certain level of talent to create trouble for the people who make trouble for most of us. So, I've had worse company on worse jobs.
We've all been fucked over by the corporations at one point or another. It's like their sole existence. When you live in a universe controlled by the corporations, it's, you know, you're living in shackles all your life, or you're living with a boot on your throat, or you're behind bars. And as far as you, young lady, negotiations aren't exactly my strong suit. Disagreements are usually settled at the end of a hammer. But I happen to like Abigail. We have a relationship. So I'm willing to speak to her when I'm not willing to speak to most.
Oh, that's totally fair. Abigail's completely delightful. Absolutely.
And Abigail chimes out, speaking of which, Clive, any more word on that other front we've talked about? I've missed the hyenas 3 times now. The leads you give me, they come too late, and they've already picked up and left by the time I catch up to them. I need to get ahead of these fuckers. And Clive kind of just looks and goes, Abby, I get the intel when I get it. I can't make it come any faster. You're looking for 2 pros out here. Like, they don't want to be found. It's a hard time fucking finding them. And she just kind of sighs and leans back in her chair that she's sitting in now on the opposite side of Clive's desk. She goes, alright, Clive, well, keep me posted. Those fuckers are out there, and I'm gonna find them. But other than that, it looks like most of the meeting commences. Abby slams down some sacks of cash for Clive. He's like, you know, this is from the Golden Truce. This is what we picked up. Obviously, the real mission was completed, but, you know, of course, we got to take what's ours on our way out. So, here's your cut of that, Clive. And Clive, without even looking at the money, just kind of slumps it down into a desk drawer and, like, closes it over the bags. And he goes, I trust you, Abby. You won't fuck me over. And they go, you know, and they kind of like idly chit chat for a moment. Is there anything anybody else wants to do in this moment in Clive's big fucking house?
Oh. Chimi wants to give the skags belly rubs, but she doesn't know where they went.
You go galumping through this mansion, finding various rooms. One room with like a lot of stuff behind glass, a lot of tokens of Clive's life, which involve various elements of trophies he's taken. Some wild animal teeth and tusks, some helmets that are bloodied and beaten in, other like badges and insignia torn freshly off clothing. A long life has Clive lived, and it's very evident in this like showcase of stuff. But eventually you catch up to the Skags, who quickly maul you, but in a fun, pleasant way. But you
Oh my god!
You are able to as they just love on you. But yes, brilliant. Hobbes, anything you want to do in this moment, as now Doc Strawman is starting to move product with Clive?
No, I don't think. No, I'm curious if. You know what? No, it's sort of. I don't think I have a real understanding of the like politics of these gangs anyway, so I have no further questions.
All right. Eventually, the meeting finishes up, and you guys remark on your way. Meanwhile, Fidget and Duck and Tegan, you guys are out in the neutral zone of Fiafia, and there's just metal streets lined with, lampposts and drunkards, people fighting and yelling and creating a ruckus. What exactly are you looking for in this place?
What do I see in my immediate vicinity?
And everybody can make a quick perception check as you walk the streets.
Ooh, I'm not good at that. I got a 5.
I got 11.
12.
Okay. You see a lot of the customary. First thing you see is a lot of bars. There is the the Soul Scent, the Lion Court, the Vanishing Bullets, just to name a few that you spy. A lot of bars in this place. It's also pretty easy to spot that there's a gunsmith and just a general kind of armory. The gunsmith is called the Trigger Outlaws, and the armory is Mind Over Metal. Beyond that is just a slew of different shops that you can see various people, bandits that have like kind of retired from the bandit life and set up shop here, where they can be free from bounties and the like, as the general rules of this place state: don't fuck with the shops. Fuck with the people, but don't fuck with the shops. But yeah, you see clothing stores, odds and ends stores, general goods, jewelry, crafters, like pretty much everything you would expect to find in a small kind of township, which this is.
But like, see any like rough and tumblers or like
Rough and tumble types.
yeah, any rough and tumbler types.
There's people partying and puking and pissing in the streets. Fights are a regular. Every corner you turn is somebody punching somebody in the face. Like, it's, yeah, like, you walk by one of the saloons right as somebody, like, gets thrown through the fucking door and lands right on their face, like, splashing in, like, a puddle, like, you know, just, like, their face connecting with metal, their chin instantly busting open.
Okay, so I immediately like bust through the saloon doors, and I'm just like, who's doing all the punching in here?
You walk into the Vanishing Bullet, and immediately find like an old Western style saloon type, you know, except everything's again made out of metal. There's wooden tables and wooden chairs, but the whole structure is made out of metal. And inside is the barkeep, the owner of this place, and she turns and she goes, "Who's not punching everyone?"
I mean, as of right up now, I'm not punching anybody.
Ah, well, you're in the wrong place, love.
You should be.
Give it a minute. Why don't you have a sit and drink? You'll get punched sooner or later.
Okay. Fidget, come here.
I don't know if I want to be in the punching place.
Oh, it'll be. Oh, come on.
I'm trying to find a place where I can get like some like tech or tools or something.
All right, suit yourself.
Yeah, I'll probably stick with Fidget too.
Alright, Tegan, you find a home nestled into the Vanishing Bullet. Walk up to the bartender. Her name is Good Grace. She is a big lady with like just vibrant red hair, tied back in like, you know, a big long braid that makes it all the way down to her ass. She's wearing like a leather jacket with tattered shirts, and she's just like, "Yeah, what can we get for you, love?"
Well, let's see. I just had a small aquarium of whiskey yesterday, so maybe. Give me like a. Let's see. I'll take a fishbowl of tequila.
All right. Go ahead and grab a seat. We'll get that up. They pour the finest brand of like Xylorgus tequila, like fresh off the tentacle isles of Xylorgus.
Like great tequila. Like,
yeah. Comes with like the little worm in it and everything. But brilliant, you sit down among the raucous of this place as people are like slamming this poker being played in a corner and all this stuff. Meanwhile, Fidget and Duck, you're looking for a tech place to deal with tech, like weapons or armor, or what are you feeling?
I think more like tools and stuff. As we leave the bar though, Fidget, regarding the bartender, is like, she's really pretty but scary, and I don't know how to feel about that.
That's how I feel about most people taller than me.
Which is a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
True. I have proficiency in tinker tools. I don't have any. So I was gonna go get some of those and some a hacker's kit. I'm at it.
Alright.
I'm gonna do that instead of getting a shield upgrade.
Okay, your best bet is probably to go to a fence for that. It takes you probably the better part of like 10-15 minutes of you guys walking and talking, but eventually you do come across the bait and junk.
I use my gangster background to find a place more quickly. I think that's
there
what
you
you
go.
can do with it.
Yeah, you can.
I think it's like you can spot criminal enterprise from a mile away and be like, haha.
In about 5 minutes of walking, you immediately find a place that you see as like a black market pawn shop.
Perfect.
Yeah, and walking into this place, the Bait and Junk, it's just lined with just weird esoteric shit. Just the walls are an eclectic clash of, there's tools and musical instruments and like screens and other pieces of like varying tech that are in several states of repair or disrepair. And behind it is behind the counter of this place is a another robot. Central eye, optics as well, but more of like kind of like a boxier build to it. And he introduces himself. He goes, "Hi, welcome. Please come on in. Tell me if any of my wares are up to your standards. This is One-Eyed Roger, the purveyor of the Bait and Junk."
Nice. Yeah, I'm just like telling Duck, I'm like, I think this is a good place where I have a feeling about this place. Deception 18.
Could I get some like replacement picks for thieves' tools here?
1 all 5, that'll be like a nice even 25 for you. So anything else we can do? We just got a really nice loot in, which is quite nice. It's electric, but it can also work as acoustically. We got we got a broken Echo Dex that I've repaired a little bit. That's quite nice. Is there anything else you guys are interested in?
I need a Synologic 16, Sogo 7 data gloves, a GPL stealth module, 1 Birdine intelligent translator, and Thompson iPhones.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that. Oh, and somewhere I want to get a health now vial. Probably not at this shop specifically, but somewhere.
Yeah, he does have a pile of hypodermic needles, but they are empty.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
No, thanks. I'll hold out for ones filled with medicine.
And while you guys are telling that, back in the Vanishing Bullet, eventually Tegan, it's not long before, like, you see, like, different fights are breaking out. You are, like, alone, kind of sitting at a table, and nobody's really paying that much mind to you. But what do you do is, like, you see, like, somebody, like, throw a table up and, like, weird stuff smashes to the ground, and the guy is like, "What are you talking about? I never done that before!" And they immediately just grapple each other and begin just, like, rolling around on the ground and shit. What are you looking for in this bar?
I'm just looking for a good time. Is it just the 2 guys that are fighting, or are there more?
At this point, there's about like 3 groups of 2 guys fighting now in this bar. Good Grace immediately like goes and breaks up one fight that they have drawn knives on each other, and she's like, "All right, that's enough." She takes one, like twists the guy's arm around, nearly dislocating his shoulder, like slamming him to the ground. And goes, "No weapons in my bar!" And she like just picks this dude up to just off the fucking ground and hurls him outside through the door. And she goes, "That goes for all of you. Weapons aren't allowed."
I go up to her and I'm just like, "You are an icon."
Well, you gotta keep the row in check here. People think they can go bringing knives into a fist fight. It's not gentlemanly.
I agree. You hear that, gentlemen? Or do us ladies have to put you in your place, as always?
You see, like, one of the 2 remaining fights kind of stops and, like, glares at you guys for a moment before, like, kind of separating. The other ones aren't even paying attention. They're just rolling around on the ground, punching each other.
Weapons not allowed. Fists encouraged.
Yes. But she looks at you and goes, "Yeah, well, what brings such a strapping young lass like yourself down here?"
Oh, I'm here for a job.
Fair enough. Working girl, I can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you ever need an extra bit of work, we always have room for bouncers here.
Oh. Maybe when I retire.
Fair enough. We'll see if I live that long.
I decided to like take one of the chairs and holler over to the 2 guys on the ground, and I'm just like, "Hey, catch!" And I and I chuck one at them.
Okay, alright. Ooh, yeah, nat 1. You full on, like, throw this chair, legs first against this dude's face, and just, the guy fucking, hits the ground hard. The chair is fine. It's a very sturdy chair. Made to be thrown, if you will. But solid fucking oak that slams at the side of this dude's face. The fight pretty much immediately ends, and the guy that he's fighting looks up at you with a nod, turns back and goes, "And that's what you got for calling me out like that!" And after a little while, you've had your fill of alcohol and decide to go look back out and find where your friends are. At this point, I say all of you guys managed to kind of convene back, returning from the meeting with Clive, and finding Fidget and Doc merging out of one of the several stores that they visited in this time. And as you all convene back, Abigail's like, "Well, I hope you guys all had a nice enough venture into this city here. We're going to be hanging out here a little bit as the Fear Gorta gets a little bit of repairs work done. So you're welcome to get a spot out here to rest the night, or you can return back to the Fear Gorta if you want to stay rent-free, if you will. But that's really up to you guys. There are several very nice hotel rooms within various taverns in this place. But I prefer to stay on the Fear Gorta, personally. It does get a little loud with the whirring of machinery happening, but it's home.
Probably stay on the ship.
Yeah, not to be paranoid, but I think Hobbes is also inclined to stay on the ship for the time being.
I can
To be paranoid, Fidget stays on the ship.
And you too, Chimi, will you return to the ship?
Yes.
Alright.
Chimi is a fish out of water.
But are you recording at all within Fiafia?
I assume it would probably be better not to, so she'll probably do a short thing in her room.
Fair enough. That is a wise choice, but I had to give you the option. Brilliant. As you guys are kind of just milling around town, just getting a general vibe before you turn in and head back. Tegan, all of a sudden, you are slammed into by a young man, immediately whipping around. You see a very scrawny man, probably in his early 20s, a messy mop of hair on his head, wearing a super flamboyant purple jacket. And he just kind of absentmindedly just walks full body into you. And so he goes, hey, yeah, what? Oh, wow, you're a big, I love this fucking top. Let me get a look at this. Let me see the back. And he kind of moves around the back of you and presses his back flat against yours.
I am uncomfortable.
Make a perception check.
I bet he's a friggin' pickpocket or something. Let's see. So I believe that is. So that is a. Yep, that's a 12.
Okay. You do spy 3 men wearing the gray and yellow colors that you've come to associate with the Razor Reapers, as they storm out of a nearby bar, looking around as this young man is pressed flat against your back, obstructing their view of him.
So, what's a boy like you? What's a boy like you doing in a place like this?
He kind of addresses it. All your attention is now turned to this boy trying to use Tegan as cover. And he just kind of looks at you and just kind of waves, "Hi." And he goes, I mean, it's Fiafia, we're all out here, kind of just, we're all having a good time and just kind of chilling, kind of peeks around Tegan a little bit and then snaps his head back. He goes, I don't know, y'all look like a cool group of cats here, and, I just thought I'd come and introduce myself. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, not much. not getting into any trouble, are you?
Oh, like trouble. I wear trouble like an old coat. But no, we're just out here having a good time. You know what I mean? Oh, by the way,
we're totally having a good time. We're totally having a good time.
Yeah, it's what Fiafia's for. We're all having a good time. We're all friends here.
Yeah.
I'm Grant.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the name's Grant. Everyone calls me Dynamite Grant. We're just and then he kind of looks around her shoulder again. And at this point, the three men see him kicking around. He snaps and goes, "Oh shit!" So, what are we all doing tonight? Are we having fun? Like, where are we going? What are we doing?
We're just, just taking a walk, minding our own businesses, not pissing off anybody.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart. That's what That's what. And like at this point, the three gentlemen begin walking over to you guys.
I would try to shield him with my body, but I'm not very tall.
Well, that's what you got me for.
Yeah.
Egan, are you adopting this stranger who very clearly has some shade being cast his way?
I mean, Tegan might be a socially awkward, violent person, but she also has, a good heart.
At this point, the three gentlemen have come within, 15 feet of you guys, and you get a clearer view. It's they're all wearing the same colors. One of them, a very muscled gentleman, standing 6.5 feet tall. The other, a bit of a scrawnier guy, but with a Jacob's pistol strapped to his side, and a third guy wearing a classical raider helmet, completely covering the face, big pointed horn stalks on the top of the helmet, a traditional marauder, if you will. And the big gentleman steps up on you, Tegan, standing eye to eye with you, in a probably about the same width, and he goes, "Excuse me, ma'am. I have some business with that boy behind you. Would you kindly step out of the way?"
Boy? What boy? I don't know any boys.
Grant is sweating now. Sweat is pouring off his forehead. He's just pressed just as much as he can against Tegan's back, just muttering incoherently to himself.
Hobbes is just going to interject. He's just going to say, I mean, a guy like yourself probably isn't looking for trouble with any boys, right? And you've already found 2 of them to dress up like you, so I think you could probably let this one go.
Ooh, alright. Make an intimidation check, because that was a little salty.
That was
I like it.
Damn.
Okay. I have to my D20 out. I haven't rolled tonight. Uh-oh. That's a 9.
Okay. This big motherfucker rolls a nat 20. And just kind of glares down at you and goes, "Alright, enough of this shit. I know he's behind you. Give me Dynamite Grant. You don't want to cross us where we're the Razor Reapers. You don't want to get on our bad side here. Give me the boy. He owes us money, and I plan on taking it, either in cash or flesh. Give me the boy."
Fidget goes, "Oh, you must be looking for that cash that he hid behind," and I'd make up some place, and then I act oops, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Okay, good. Give a deception.
I only got a 9 though.
All right, I'll roll.
Unfortunately.
And with the 10, you get insight. The big guy sighs, and he turns back to his 2 counterparts, which begin to flank him on either side. You hear the unclip of a gun holster, and the guy looks at you and goes, "I've tried being cordial. Repo Reapers are nothing if not polite. Last chance. Move out of the way." And you see Grant behind him, just fuck.
Or what?
And the guy grabs you by the shirt and headbutts you immediately. Surprise attack, and you are going to take 7 points of bludgeoning damage as he smashes his dome into the bridge of your nose. Blood bursts out. I need everyone to roll initiative.
I really wish I nailed that deception check.
I would have liked to have nailed the intimidation, but